I've got a fun one planned for today. We're going to be going down the most recent rabbit hole that I've fallen into. It's the world of fly fishing and fly tying. Well, stay tuned and find out here on this episode of That Fishing Podcast.
This is Steve Rogers with Steve Rogers Outdoors, and you're listening to That Fishing Podcast. Sit back and enjoy.
Yo! How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. Or if you're new, welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, That Fishing Noob. And yes, we're going to be doing a fun little dive. I'm going to bring you along for the ride of diving down into the rabbit hole of fly fishing. And oh man, it's been a wild ride. But first, couple announcements. Kind of keep the consistency going of this first little intro section. If you haven't already been made aware of this, you will now. So my buddy Chase over at Southwest Indiana Outdoors has a wife, the classy kayaker. Her name is Calah, and she has her own fishing apparel company. It's called Allure. Swing over to her site, buy some stuff. She makes some super cool, like, the backstory of Allure real quick. She initially was like, you know what, there's no fishing shirts that are geared towards women that have prints that, you know, women could be like, oh, that looks good, I like that, let me go, buy that and look good, fish good. So she ran with the idea and talked to, her supplier, made some designs, and then boom, started printing out some fishing shirts. So swing over there, and recently she came out with 2 more designs that are more unisex, and I think she has these last 2 designs, I think that she has men's sizes too. The fishing shirts, it's a hooded long sleeve fishing shirt with thumb holes. Yes, that's right, has thumb holes. Swing over there and check it out, it's pretty sick, pretty cool. Show her some support, blow her up, that'd be cool. I don't have a promo code, but maybe in the comments or something, if you're able to leave a comment on an order, let her know that I sent you, because that would be cool. Other thing, so right now it is about, other thing, I have been hosting these online fishing tournaments for free. And I'm hosting another one from August until December, the end of the year. Normally, it's a top 5 longest bass. But this one that's going on is all fish, any species. And it's not by length, it's by count. So if you've been fishing for pike, then cool beans, you can count them. If you've been fishing for, gills or crappie, cool, you can count them. Every fish counts. I'll have the invite code in the description of here, so you'll be able to go through and join up. It's hosted on the app called Fish Champ. It's not bad to navigate. It does have some flaws. It's not perfect, but hey, guess what? It is free, and it gets you in the boat of CPR etiquette. Not really for this last one, because I'm not requiring a bump board, but kind of just a standard tournament etiquette of taking a picture of your fish, uploading the fish, making sure identifiers clearly visible, all this stuff. So a nice little stress-free way to get into some tournament fishing if that's something that you've been interested in. And I'd be glad to have you along so I can see what kind of fish you're catching. It's really cool seeing just the different species and the amount of fish that some of you guys are catching. It's great. Last couple things. I am pro staff over at Dadfish Tackle. You can save yourself 10% off over at dadfishtackle.com using my code TFN10, Tom Frank Nora 10. Jeremy, the Dadfish, is the owner of Dadfish Tackle, and he has been experimenting with some crazy stuff, which should be making its way to the website soon, I hope. Also, I've got some affiliate links for Eco Fishing Shop and Kiss the Rod. I'll link those down as well. Please consider going through and showing some support that way. No additional cost to you, but it does give me a little bit of a commission off a purchase that you would potentially make. So, thanks for your consideration. Appreciate it. Alright, let's get on with this podcast. Deep dive, bringing you along for the adventure, the ride of fly fishing. I have to start with a little bit of a backstory though. So here's the backstory. I went over to, like, the family and I took a trip over to some national parks. We went over to Yellowstone, and then after that, the Grand Tetons, which, wow, if you guys haven't experienced that. And I mean, like, so my personality type, I don't like the big hype, like super crowds. I like to just go off and not a whole lot of people, not the super duper sightsee stuff where there's, hundreds of people around. I like just being out in nature. So Yellowstone, it's pretty cool. That place is giant though. So sure, go see the things that are like, wow, that's pretty neat, like Dragon's Breath and like Old Faithful Geyser. Cool, go see those things. But then like the other stuff, like one of the days we were driving back to where we were staying, and there's a little, like, I don't know what it's a pull-off, like little U-turn thingy place. But I had noticed, previous day driving back, that there was a stream and a little path that followed it. So I was like, you know what, let's stop here one day. So we did, and oh man, it was just, like, it was amazing sitting there at that with the beauty of Yellowstone around and this crystal clear stream. And like we walked down and we saw fish, and it was super cool. And I was like, whoa. So that that was great. And then Grand Teton was pretty sick too. I'm not going to go and hype that up much because I don't want you to I want to keep it kind of on the, like, in the shadow of Yellowstone. But if I had to pick between the two of them, I liked Grand Teton more. But that, so we got back, and my wife kind of like posed the idea of like fly fishing. Like, why haven't you gotten into fly fishing? Because majority of the fishing around those places was limited to fly fishing only. And I was like, I never really thought about it. So then that translated into, like, I don't know how, but we're thinking about getting a boat or a camper. We're looking at both. And she was leaning more towards the boat because I had voiced before. I was like, it'd be cool to bring you guys out to the lake whenever I fish, so that way we can have, family fishing adventure. That'd be fun. And then for some reason, something crazy happened. And this is why my life right now has been pretty chaotic. We went from looking at campers, boats, to we put in an offer on a house, and now we're in under contract, and we're going to be closing on the house soon. So things escalated 0 to 100 really quick. But in the middle of that, that seed of fly fishing was planted, and we had a scheduled trip to New Mexico. And I was like, you know what? I think it'd be nice to go and learn how to fly fish. So then I was browsing just combos on Amazon. I was looking for something cheap, looking for something that was pre-spooled, and I finally made the purchase. And I was like, okay, here we go. I don't know anything about it. Haven't really looked up videos on what to do. I don't know what I'm doing, but I like fishing, so I should like fly fishing, right? And yeah, oh man, I like fly fishing a lot. There's just something really nice and I'd say therapeutic about the rhythmic false cast to cast. Like, that motion is just something that's really nice. So rod came in and I practiced with it, and I ended up fishing over in New Mexico I was trying to go for some trout, and I think I caught my first smallmouth over in New Mexico on a fly. And with fly fishing, it's like, all right, well, I can't buy soft plastics for it because you don't throw soft plastics on a fly rod. So then I started looking into tying my own flies. And then I got in trouble. I got in a lot of trouble. So I went from one fly rod to I upgraded, and I got another rod and another reel. And then I did a bunch of research on tippet and leader and fly line, and it was just like, oh, like, maybe I'm not bad at fly fishing. Maybe it's just because I have bad fly line and it doesn't shoot correctly. So I upgraded and got some fly line, and yeah, I'm deep in the rabbit hole. So to section this off, the first part, I'm just going to talk about kind of fly fishing. And the second part, I'm going to talk about fly tying. So fly fishing. If you're not familiar with fly fishing, it is, you have like this obnoxiously long pole. It's like a 8 foot, 8.5, 9 foot pole that you're using as a fly rod to cast these weightless flies. Now, I'm still not very familiar with the different types of flies. I just know there's like a dry fly, a wet fly, and I don't know, something else that maybe sticks on the bottom or looks like something, I don't know, or a streamer, I don't know. So casting a fly rod is completely different too. You have something called a false cast. So if you had to close your eyes and imagine this, so on your spool, you have backing line that is tied to fly line that is tied to your leader line. And your leader line, like a happy medium, is 9 foot. So you have a 9 foot tapered leader line that's tied to fly line. So, and your fly is tied to your leader line, or your leader line is tied to tippet, and then your fly is tied to that tippet. So to cast something like this, it's not like a traditional cast with a spinning or a casting rod where you load it up and it's the weight of the lure that goes through and kind of gets that rod to bend back, and you flick that forward or fling it forward, and then it's the weight of the lure that carries the line out. Nope, not this way. The weight is in the fly line, and kind of like the fly line to leader transition-ish, but that's where the weight is. So to cast this thing, it's not just as easy as like a spinning rod, back cast, forward cast, that's it. What you're trying to do is it's all momentum based. So you go through, make a back cast or a false cast to go through and get your line to straighten out. And by the way, you have to have a lot of line out. So at least, I'd say probably like a good 9 feet of line as like a bare minimum to start off with. And that's like casting really, really close. The more line out, the farther you can cast. So we'll go with 12 feet. So you have about 12 feet of line out. So you go through and like you make a back cast and you watch your fly, and it's just, dangling out in the air and going out behind you. And when that line straightens out, then you whip your rod forward, and that goes through and starts that momentum train. So the line is going to like form a U as the heavier fly line is like accelerating out towards wherever you're going through and casting at, and the fly is lagging behind that. So to go through and get more distance and let out a little bit more line for more distance, once that line straightens out or is really close to straightening out, then you flick it backwards again, and then it's that same process. Now that U is going backwards behind you, and once that is starting to straighten out again, you flick it back forward, and if that's your cast, then you just go through and let that go. The fly is going to trail the fly line and then plop somewhere in the water, hopefully. It's nice to get down. It's like a nice rhythmic change of pace, which I've been enjoying a lot. Like I had to get over the really fast casting, and that's like the number one beginner rule or beginner tip is slow down your casting. And I had to like drill that into my brain because coming from, casting and a spinning background, like you just whip it, you flick it, and you're good to go. But yeah, so I learned how to cast a fly rod. I'm not the most proficient with it. I can't make these crazy casts, but I'm getting better, and it's been enjoyable. And then the next thing is like retrieving. So you don't retrieve with your handle. You kind of go through, or this isn't the best way. This is just what I've been doing. But after I make a cast, I'll go through and with my index finger, I fish left-handed. So my left index finger, I'm holding the like cork section above the seat where my reel is, and I feed my fly line under my index finger. So my index finger is sandwiched on kind of like that cork section, and then I have fly line in between the cork section and my index finger. And then with my right hand, I am pulling fly line in to retrieve it in. So there's different retrieves. There's like a straight pull, and you can do like it's like a figure 8 retrieve. That's a constant steady retrieve. And then I don't know if this is very smart, but sometimes I'll go through and I'll flick it almost like working a jerk bait and get my fly to make more sporadic movements. So that's how I've been fishing it. And hold on. So the combo that I initially bought came with like 3 or 4 flies, and I was throwing those out, and they're tiny, microscopic flies, but they're really, really, really good for catching sunfish and bluegill. So once I figured out that I can catch them, I started catching them like crazy, and it was super fun, and it's still super fun. I can't tell you how many bluegill I've caught. I've caught a lot, and I've actually caught a couple smaller bass as well. I'm having a blast fly fishing, which it's not gaining as much traction on YouTube because everything else is out of my kayak and it's like bass fishing, but I'm still having fun, so whatever. By the way, shameless plug, I have a couple fly fishing videos over on my YouTube channel, That Fishing Noob, and yeah, if you want to swing over and check them out, that would be cool. But with these tiny flies, I went out and bought some, I thought, bigger flies, because I was like, you know what, alright, cool, so these bluegill, they want to go through and eat these little flies. So to get a bass to commit to something like a bigger bass, I need to get a bigger lure, right? So I bought a couple, and then I was like, man, I walked into Bass Pro, this is the first time I went over to the fly section. I had always just passed it up, and I was like, fly fishing, that's cool. But, you know, that's its own niche category, and I'm not part of it. And I walked in there, and for these tiny little flies, it was like $250, $350, $450, $9.99, and I was like, great. I mean, they look really nice, and they catch fish. I've caught fish on them, but yeah, a little fly, and it costing like $4, no. So that leads us into the super duper deep rabbit hole that I fell into. I tie my own flies, and disclaimer, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So again, hopped on the favorite Amazon, and I started browsing fly tying kits and vices. Found a vice that I thought was going to be nice, ordered it, and then it broke. And I was trying to tie my first fly, or not even that. I was trying to get my hook into the vice to hold, and the metal vice just broke. I was like, well, great. Ordered another one, and that one has been absolutely solid. But then also, I went down and tried my best at researching what kind of material I should buy to tie my own flies. And I'm realizing that there are hundreds of things to possess in order to tie like these crazy, crazy designs. My flies look very basic, and they, in my opinion, look pretty buggy. And the good thing, spoiler alert, they catch fish. I can't say they catch fish consistently because I've only really targeted smaller, bluegill sunfish. But I don't know, there's this different sense of accomplishment whenever I tie something and then go out and fish it and it works. I'm sure it's the same thing with Jeremy whenever he goes through and is like, man, this is going to be a really good color. Let me go through and, shoot a mold of this. And then he tests it and then it works. Like, that's just a huge sense of achievement, I'm sure. So yeah, I bought a bunch of different colored feathers. I bought some chenille. I bought a little fly tying kit that has a bobbin, has a threader thingy, some snips, a whip finish, which I'm still working on consistent good whip finishes and not like having to redo it. I just bought a bunch of, crystal flash. I have a lot of crystal flash. And then another thing that's been really silly, and my wife is kind of like, ew, I've been using my dog's fur as it's not called hackle. I don't remember now. My brain is super fried. It's late. And we're in the process of moving, and the house is super barren and crazy. So my brain's not here right now. Oopsie. And now you're being dragged along for this adventure. Yay. Thanks for listening. Welcome to the podcast. But I have a lot of fly materials. And so just today earlier, and I sent this to Chase and Jeremy, I tied a makeshift little dragonfly tie, and I caught a bass on it. And if you're part of the tournament that I'm fishing, I posted the bass. It was it wasn't even a pound, maybe like half a pound. But I posted that bass and the little dragonfly lure or dragonfly fly that I tied. And yeah, that was fun. So I'm planning on going through and tying bigger flies to hopefully target bass. And one of them that I'm planning on tying is a popping type fly, or fly popper fly. Because I've seen really good things with that. And I mean, If a bass wants to go through and blow up on a popper like that, yes, sir, that'd be great. But I'm also planning on tying some streamers and some bigger, just buggy profile things. I'm realizing that a lot of these feathers, once they get wet, they're just like, they compress, so I need more material. And I need to figure out different types of material to use to kind of make these streamer bodies. I'm still learning all the things. So with that, with the grand old age of YouTube and all the things, my search history and my watch history has just been like all fly fishing stuff. So different casting or different like how to cast more proficiently, how to tie different flies, and lots of like how to whip finish, because whip finishing is kind of difficult. But I think I got the hang of it now, so yeah. And it's been a really fun adventure. I recently tied another dragonfly fly, and I'm hoping to go through and fish that. And I don't know, see, hopefully a bass goes through and blows up on it, because that'd be really cool. And I think for the next month or so, things are going to be kind of hectic. So I'll be able to provide an update on this probably on the next podcast episode. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to get back out on the kayak for the next month or so, just with the craziness of closing on a house. Oh, and then also with that, selling my current house and then moving and getting situated, settled in over at the new house. So we'll see, but I'm still hoping to get out and either bass fish or fly fish or both, because that would be really fun. Fly fishing, I joined a couple fly fishing groups as well, and I caught the bug pretty hard. So even now, I'm looking at, my brain just remembered, it's called dubbing. So my dog's fur, I got like little sandwich bags of that, and I use that as dubbing because it makes things fuzzy. And if things look fuzzy, it looks pretty buggy, right? So that's been fun. And then I need to order some UV resin and like the little black light to go through and provide some more rigidity and longevity to these flies. And it also gives it like a gloss finish, which is cool. So I need to go through and get some of that. This is kind of how my personality works, though. I find something, and then I'll, take a step into it, and then before I know it, I'm drowning. And that's like how it's been for the hobbies that I have. I'm like, oh, that's pretty neat, and then bada bing, bada boom. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll get my feet wet, and then I'm drowning. Fly fishing has been great, though. Mike, I don't know if you listen to this podcast, but if you do, I know that you said that you don't need another thing to get addicted to, but fly fishing might be pretty fun for you if you take the time to learn it. It's really therapeutic. And my primary reason for getting into it is so I can travel with this on an airplane. I can break down my 4-piece fly rod, bring it on an airplane with flies in my checked luggage, bring my reel, and then go hit up these other places where I can wade out into some streams or rivers and fly fish. I think that would be super, super cool. There's not really a whole lot of opportunities to do that because here in Southeast Texas, there are no clear streams or rivers anywhere. But for those times when I'm going to state parks or national parks or anything like that where there are opportunities to fish in clear water, kind of like when I went over to New Mexico for the mission trip, super clear water, then it'd be fun to be able to break down and bring my little fly rod with some hand-tied flies by yours truly, that fishing noob. Disclaimer again, my flies are not anything professional looking at all, but I think they look buggy, and if they catch fish, I can't complain. That's about all I had for this one. Nice little sweet episode, bringing just kind of like a live update episode of fly fishing. It's been great. More laid back. I'm still trying to figure out the voice, like my voice for this podcast, the format and stuff. So bear with me, but thank you for joining me on this adventure. I'm still having fun with it. And I hope that you are at least able to fall asleep to this. Or, Chase, if you're driving to a tournament and you and Calah are in the car right now, hey, what's up? But looks like that'll be it for this episode. Thank you again for stopping by and listening. Please, if you haven't already, give the show a rating, preferably a 5-star. And then you can go through and comment how you really feel down below after that. But that helps my show populate and kind of get it to be more visible and pushed out more. And I'd appreciate it. Well, with that, I hope that you are able to go fishing. And if you are fishing, I hope that you're able to catch a big one. But I'll catch you on the next one. Tight lines, and God bless.